Imagine a man so powerful and ruthless that his name became synonymous with fear, fortune, and an empire built on blood. A man who could make countries bow to his will and make entire governments tremble in his shadow. His empire was worth billions, spanning continents. Smuggling cocaine into the US like it was just another shipment. And he would stop at nothing to keep his grip on it. This is the story of Pablo Escobar, the drug lord who built an empire, only to lose it all in a deadly game of power and betrayal. Born in 1949 in the small town of Rio Negro, Colombia, Pablo Escobar wasn't born into wealth. His father was a humble farmer and his mother was a schoolteacher. But young Pablo, he had a vision. He wasn't going to settle for small-time schemes. Even as a teenager, he was already dreaming big, stealing bicycles, forging fake diplomas, looking for his big break. By the time the 1970s rolled around, the cocaine trade was exploding, and Escobar was right there, ready to capitalize. The potential was undeniable, and the profits were massive. Escobar dove in with everything he had. First, marijuana, then cocaine. He saw the potential, the massive profits, and he dove in head first. In just a few years, Escobar was no longer a small-time hustler, he was a kingpin. In 1980, he co-founded the Medellín Cartel. And just like that, he controlled 80% of the global cocaine market. He wasn't just making money, he was changing the game. Escobar's wealth skyrocketed to a staggering $30 billion. Luxury cars, private jets, a zoo. If there was a symbol for excess, it was Escobar. But behind the million-dollar smiles and the shiny facade, the cartel ran on fear, violence, and bloodshed. Escobar didn't just want money, he wanted power. He wanted to be untouchable. He bought politicians, police officers, judges. If you didn't play by his rules, you were dead. His famous motto, plata o plomo, offered a simple choice, silver or lead, bribe or die, and most chose silver. He wasn't just building a criminal empire, he was creating an entire world. In Medellín, he funded housing projects, built soccer fields, and won the people's loyalty. To them, Escobar was a hero, a man who helped the poor, while at the same time, running a bloody reign of terror. At the peak of Escobar's reign, his empire wasn't just built on cocaine, it was propped up by a shadowy web of criminal masterminds, political puppets, and media allies. The Ochoa brothers, Jorge Luis, Juan David, and Fabio, were his right-hand men in the infamous Medellín Cartel, alongside the calculating Jose Gachaf, known as the Mexican, who steered the cocaine trade. But it didn't stop there. Escobar's cousin, Gustavo Gaviria, played a vital role in handling the cartel's financial empire and its operations with ruthless efficiency. Politically, Escobar's reach stretched all the way to the Colombian Senate, where Senator Alberto Santofimio was allegedly on his payroll, later implicated in the assassination of presidential candidate Luis Carlos Galán, a vocal enemy of the cartels. Escobar's influence even reached the media, where he cultivated a secret romance with journalist Virginia Vallejo, who would later expose their relationship. With these connections, Escobar didn't just control Colombia's underworld, he controlled its very politics and public narrative, cementing his power like few criminals ever have. But as Escobar's empire grew, so did his enemies. In the late 80s, the world started fighting back. The US wanted him gone. The Colombian government couldn't keep up, and soon the unthinkable happened. In 1991, with the heat closing in, Escobar made a deal. Surrendered to the authorities, but on his own terms. He built his own prison, La Catedral, a fortress where he still called the shots. For a while, it seemed like Escobar had won. But he wasn't content to simply stay out of the spotlight. He still controlled his cartel from inside, continuing the empire's operations. However, in 1992, after a crackdown from the government and pressure from the US, Escobar made a desperate move. He escaped, living like a ghost for over a year, always one step ahead of the authorities, continuing his operations from the shadows. During this period, Javier Peña and Steve Murphy, two key DEA agents, were deeply involved in the pursuit. They worked alongside Hector Berna of the Colombian National Police and agents from the FBI and CIA in a joint effort to bring down the Medellín Cartel. Their work involved a mix of intelligence, surveillance, and constant pressure on the cartel's operations. The world thought Escobar was untouchable, but they were wrong. On December 2nd, 1993, after an extensive manhunt, Colombian authorities tracked Escobar to a rooftop in Medellín. In a dramatic shootout that rocked the city, Escobar's reign of terror finally came to a brutal end. The tireless efforts of Peña, Murphy, Berna, and other law enforcement agents were critical in dismantling the Medellín cartel and bringing Escobar to justice. Pablo Escobar, the man who had built an empire on violence and corruption, was dead. But the questions remain. Could he have been stopped earlier? Was his empire simply too powerful to bring down, or was it only a matter of time before someone finally took him down? The story of Pablo Escobar is a chilling reminder. Power corrupts, and when it goes unchecked, it can lead to unimaginable destruction. His empire may have crumbled, but his name will forever be etched in the history books. If you thought this story was intense, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more deep dives into history's most notorious figures. We'll see you in the next one.